You're tuned in to Kaz TV.
What's going on, everybody? So today we're going to talk about this video right here. This was sent to me this week. Let's check it out.
How long have you been married?
25 years.
What's your advice for couples that are looking to have a long and healthy relationship?
Listen to your wife. Whatever she says goes.
How long have both of you been married?
We know her like 11 years old.
Since you were 11 years old?
From Cuba.
So what would be your advice for a long and healthy marriage?
Do what she say. That's it. Trust me, that's it. She says something, you make it.
Are you two married?
50 odd years.
What advice would you give for a long and healthy relationship?
She's the boss.
How did you learn that?
Over time.
So first off, I want to say that I appreciate seeing a husband that cares for his wife's needs and happiness. That's admirable, and every man should strive to make his wife feel loved and valued. That being said, the term happy wife, happy life has some problematic implications. Let's jump into it. While the phrase sounds good on the surface, it places an unfair burden on the husband to ensure his wife's happiness at all costs. And this creates an unhealthy dynamic where the wife might feel justified in acting out or making it difficult because she's unhappy, believing it's his responsibility to just fix it. This mindset can lead to entitlement and a lack of accountability where the wife never has to reflect on her own role in her own relationship issues. From a biblical perspective, marriage should reflect Christ's relationship with the church. Ephesians 5:25 says that a husband is called to love his wife as Christ loved the church. That means leading with love, making sacrifices, but it doesn't mean avoiding conflict or passively agreeing just to make sure that everybody's happy all the time. Christ's love for the church sometimes involves calling us to do things that we may not want to do, but it's beneficial for our growth and it's needed. In the same way, a husband's leadership in a marriage sometimes requires some tough decisions that might not always be popular, but it's ultimately in the best interest of the family. Now, when we look at modern dating and relationship dynamics today, we see a lot of messages that contributed to the lack of accountability that many women today seem to deal with, especially millennials and Gen X. They grew up with messages like, "You're perfect just the way you are. If he can't handle you at your worst, he doesn't deserve you at your best." We've all heard these phrases before. While these can boost self-esteem, they can also discourage self-reflection and accountability. Many relationship coaches and counselors have shared on their personal experience and their practice that many women would abruptly leave and end therapy when confronted with their own behavior.
In the last 9 months or so of me being in my private practice, I have myself experienced many women, whether they came in as a couple or they came by themselves, they very abruptly discontinued their therapy. And I started to reflect and really think, what was going on here? And I noticed that after I had to confront them about something, I had to bring to their attention something they were doing that wasn't contributing to the health of the relationship, they became very defensive and very, just very harsh, and they stopped coming. And even though the husband would continue to come, he made it very clear that, she won't apologize. She thinks you're wrong. She thinks you're taking my side. And I began to really reflect, like, oh my gosh, is it true that women don't apologize? Is it that women struggle with being held accountable?
Media and entertainment has also played a big role in shaping these expectations. Disney movies, for example, have increasingly portrayed strong, independent women who don't need a man and challenge the traditional roles to pursue their goals without compromise. And those narratives can be empowering and push some young girls to be strong, but they also reinforce the idea that compromise or relying on their partner is a form of weakness. And that's a problem. All these influences contribute to a mindset where many women feel that if things aren't done their way, that's a problem. This my way or the highway attitude can make relationships difficult, and compromise and mutual respect are essential for any relationship, whether it's romantic or just a friendship. And this mindset also feeds into the she's the boss mentality. Biblically speaking, while the husband is called to serve and love his wife like Christ loved the church, nowhere does it say the wife is the boss. Christ leads the church, and we're called to follow him, not the other way around. The church is not the boss of Christ. In the same way, the wife isn't called to lead or dominate the husband. The husband's leadership should be loving and self-sacrificing, but it's still leadership. When we flip this dynamic, it becomes unbiblical and out of the order that God designed. While this idea of happy wife, happy life might come from a good place, it can lead to a dynamic where both parties are set up for failure. The husbands feel like they must sacrifice everything just to make sure their wife is happy, even sacrificing doing the right thing that they know they need to do. Instead, we should aim for a more balanced approach like happy spouse, happy house. We've got to realize that women aren't babies. They're adults. They can handle the truth. They're not men. They do need to be treated differently than men and handled with a different level of care and gentleness. But at the same time, when we act like they're these fragile eggs that can't be touched, otherwise they'll break if they hear the truth, that's a problem. So while I get these men may just be trying to be really kind to their wives, I think that's great, and I think that they need to know that we love them, we care for them, and that it's very important that they're a top priority in our life. But let's not take it too far. And I think that's what some of these sayings do when we do that.